Hello and welcome to Tech Week in View, where we take the biggest stories of the week, chew them up, spit them out, and tell you what we think. Stay tuned. So I've just twittered to say that I'm here in New York, and you can clearly see that I'm here in New York. But if you didn't see my tweets, then, well, you'll have to take my word for it. But all that's about to change because Twitter's just added geolocation to the Twitter stream. We're certainly about to do so. What does that mean? Why is it interesting? Well, it's interesting for a number of reasons. One, it brings up a whole new stream of development opportunities. Augmented reality springs to mind straight away. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's the concept of me seeing through a display and then information being laid over that display. Now, in a real-term scenario, I could be sitting here and saying, right, there appears to be a Twitterer over there, and then just walking over there and finding the person that's tweeted something. Certainly interesting. But one thing that we find that could be a considerable downside is those moments where you're perhaps twittering to someone, the missus, maybe the husband, to say that you're on the way home. Unfortunately, if your tags are being geo-targeted, very much like photos, they'll know exactly where you are. So Sony have announced a new PS3. It's the PS3 Slim, a smaller, lighter, more efficient console, but should you care? Well, to be honest, no. But it's all exciting, isn't it? If you've got a PS3 already, then do not bother upgrading. It's not really that much of a fuss. However, for the rest of us, at £250 or $299, it certainly brings the console into a more cost-effective scenario. It certainly gives PlayStation, well, a fighting chance. It reignites the console wars, as a couple of journalists have said on the announcement. For what you get, pretty much the same as what you had before. Yes, there is a faster processor in there. No, nobody really knows how much of a difference it makes. It certainly means that you'll now be able to get a Blu-ray player if you really care, or give a monkeys about that for a considerable cheaper buck. And when it eventually comes out in September, the only thing you'll be annoyed about is the fact that in the UK we'll have to still pay more than our US friends. So when you hold an annual event in September, chances are you'll probably hold an annual event in September this year. Yes, I'm talking about the Apple, iPod, iTunes, iTablet, Beatles announcement, which will happen in the first couple of weeks of September. And at the moment it's got the interweb, the rumour mill, excited with what the possibilities could be. There's everything from an iPod Touch with a digital camera, an iTablet device that allows you to, well, touch your way into a new and exciting exploration of knowledge, and then even as far-stretched as the Beatles, because it ties in nicely with the Beatles rock band launch. So what do I think? Well, probably all of the above, to be honest. I don't think the iTablet's going to come. It's too early in the cycle of rumours for it to be launching in September. I think they'll probably wait off until early half of next year at the latest. They're almost there, but not quite. I do think there will be an iPod Touch. I do think it will probably have a camera. It makes sense. The camera at the moment for the iPhone is the most popular device on Flickr, and it shows that people are quite happy to take pictures and send them to wherever they want. Will it have video? Probably, just because the iPhone 3GS has video as well. The most interesting one is the Beatles scenario, which has popped up in the last couple of days. What it suggests is that because the rock band is getting a big digital push, with 20-odd songs on it from the 9th of September, that it makes sense to suddenly allow that digital catalogue to be accessible through iTunes. After all, if people are going to be wanting to play it on their consoles, chances are they're going to want to be able to buy it from iTunes. Do I really care about it going into iTunes? No, of course not. I can already get most of the albums in Amazon on CD. I can then copy those CDs straight into iTunes, and Bob's your uncle, I'm listening it to on my iPod. The mere fact that I can download it digitally isn't going to make me want to go and buy all the Beatles tracks that I already have. And plus, I'll probably be buying Rock Band, so I'll just play it on there anyway. Either way, if you want to get excited about this and you are a fanboy of sorts, yes, probably, most likely, 99% of the chance there'll be some new products for you to get excited about very soon. Samsung has launched a camera with two LCD displays, one on the front and one on the back, for vein buggers looking to take pictures of themselves. The concept is quite crazy, but what it proves is that the companies are having to move away from the megapixel rush and actually come up with creative, innovative ideas. They're not the first ones to come up with something that's slightly different. Nikon a couple of weeks ago announced that they were launching a camera with a built-in projector. Once you've taken your pictures, all you have to do is fire up the projector inside the camera and display those images up to 40 inches on any surface. Seems quite mad to me, but that's not as mad as Fujifilm, who have come up with a 3D camera. Now everybody's talking about 3D at the moment. James Cameron's Avatar due out in December, for example. Sky are going to go 3D next year, and such like. And so, hey, why not a camera as well? But it suddenly dawned on me as we were covering the launch of yet a load of new Canon cameras that some of their cameras actually have less megapixels than the cameras from the previous year. So really, the camera megapixel rush, the days of when we're trying to every month announcing 14, 18, 16, 32, 558 million megapixels is clearly over. And as camera companies understand this and realize that they've pretty much reached a threshold of what they need, the good news for consumers is that cameras are going to get a bit more interesting in the features that they offer. Well, that's it for this week's show. Hope you've enjoyed it. Why don't you tune in next time for more news, reviews, tips, tricks, opinions, and much more. I'm Stuart Miles. This is Megawatt TV. Thanks for watching.